Hi, we're Quaint and Curious Volumes. My name is James. It's Friday, and so I'm going to do a little bit of a Friday Reads video. So why not, right? Um, this week has mostly been about finishing The Count of Monte Cristo, which I did yesterday. And, well, I won't spoil it for you, but he gets revenge. Let's just leave it at that. This is a very long book. It's over 1,200 pages. But as a lot of people told me when I started reading this, it reads very quickly, and it's really enjoyable. Though there are places where you're like, all right, he's definitely dragging this out. Certain chapters where the conversation just kind of circles around. It's like, oh, I know where this is gonna go. Let's get to it. But really, I gotta say, even then, even in most of those cases, most of those situations, it's still just delightful to read. All that stuff. The last, I don't know, 40 pages or so, I was starting to get impatient because here is where the Count has, without any spoilers, it begins to get kind of philosophical, and I learned a big important lesson, and that kind of thing. You're not reading this book for learning big important philosophical lessons, especially trite ones. You're reading this book for a guy getting revenge through very complex means, right? Right? That's why I'm reading this book. So anyway, I recommend this to you. I recommend you at least try it. There's been sort of a tag going around. I don't know, maybe it's just a weird parasocial thing between Steve Donahue and Shelley Swearingen, where they're talking about the biggest books that they like or something, and they're calling each other on the phone. It's very high school. I mean, but whatever. But, since we're talking about long books that are worth the page count, this is certainly one. I could recommend two others. Here's one that I recommend. It's War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Recommend that anyone give that a try. It's great. And here's another one that I recommend, not necessarily to anyone. Well, I think anyone should try it. Not everyone is going to like it. I think just about everyone would like War and Peace. But The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, another book about 900,000 pages that I really love, and I think a lot of people would if they give it a try. But I know that not everyone is gonna be on board for all the very long conversations between Settembrini and Father Naphtha, or I think that's his name. But that's a great book. So there are my suggestions, wedging in the little mammoth recommendation book tag into my Friday reads. I mean, some people, Steve Donahue, go on for 27 minutes, and here you're getting it in like 30 seconds in the midst of a Friday reads. What else is going on? I've got the Arabian Nights, Tales of 1001 Nights, still in Volume 1, almost done with Volume 1. But I think that at least me and Gavin from Genre Books are still reading this. We may be doing a live stream sometime in the next couple of weeks, I hope. So that's pretty fun. And, as I said earlier, I've been fooling around with or making a study of Spanish, kind of knocking the rust off the Spanish that I learned back in school. And some of my BookTube friends have given me recommendations, particularly Libro Paradiso has given me a lot of great recommendations, and of movies to watch and books to check out. I've been reading a little bit of Carlos Fuentes' Aura, and this is a bilingual edition, so probably in the next couple of days I'm just going to read through the whole English part of it, the whole English rendition, and then maybe I'll make a goal of reading a page or so a day in Spanish over the next little while. We'll see how that goes, but as I think I've said before, this is a bit of an unusual book, and that it's in second person. And then I went through my shelves to try and find any other Spanish or bilingual books that I happen to have on hand, because I am prone to just buying a whole bunch of stuff that I maybe end up not actually using. But I have this book. I know you can't tell what it is, but it's a book called Mad Women, and it's a collection of poetry by Gabriela Mistral, who was an Argentine poet. I think she was from Argentina, who wrote in Spanish and won the Nobel Prize for Literature, probably one of the more obscure Nobel Prize winners. And this is bilingual. And I read through this several years ago. I read the whole thing, and I did not understand a lot of it. What I'm reading, I think I get a little bit more of it now, but poetry is difficult for a language learner, and I'll read you a bit of this in English, and you'll see what I mean. I killed a woman in me, one I did not love. She was the blazing flower of the mountain cactus. She was drought and fire, never cooling her body. She had stone and sky at her feet, at her shoulders, and she never came down to seek the water's eye. Wherever she rested, the grass would twist from the breath of her mouth, the live coals of her face. Like quick-setting resin, her speech would harden, never to fall lovely as a captive freed. The plant of the mountain didn't know how to bend. At her side I bent and bent. I left her to die, robbing her of my heart's blood. She ended like an eagle starved of its food. The beating wing grew still. She bent, spent, and her dying ember fell into my hand. Still her sisters keen, they cry to me for her, and the fiery clay rakes me as I pass. When we meet, I tell them, search in the ravines and fashion from the clay another burning eagle. If you can't do it, then too bad. Forget her. I killed her. You women must kill her too. So, you could probably tell from that like a lot of poetry, it depends not on being unpredictable, on not normal speech, on putting together words that would not normally go together, on picking the rare word rather than the common one, right? So for someone trying to learn kind of the normal way things are said, to have these weird, these unusual combinations, like the live coals of her face, that's gonna kind of trip you up and say, am I really reading that? So anyway, but I have been enjoying reading through a little bit of this at a time, and I found a channel on YouTube that streams Alf dubbed in Espanol, the old 80s sitcom about a puppet, about an alien who's kind of this fuzzy puppet named Alf, and that's been kind of interesting to watch Alf in Spanish a little bit. But anyway, that's what I'm reading, and tell me what you're reading this week. Are you going to be doing any of the August read-alongs? I think I'm going to do the T.S. Eliot read-along. I've got a piece of junk that I may try and see if that sets me in good stead for Garb August. I usually don't like those kinds of books. I don't really enjoy reading them, but I might pull it out and give it a try. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.